Today on iPad 365, we look at a medical app that will help you figure out what's wrong with you. This episode brought to you by Stitcher Internet Radio. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to iPad 365, the show where we look at an app a day to keep your iPad in play. Today is Friday, and I've been playing around. It's kind of a slow day, trying to figure out, what we should talk about, and then my sciatic started acting up. My sciatic acted up a little bit, and so I had to go check on that, and then my blood pressure went way up in the roof, and I felt like, whoa, and that was bad, so then we went over and we looked at this, and that's anyway. What I did, the reality is, in the last few months, I have been battling some medical issues, a little bit of high blood pressure. Plus, I got what's called inner ear thing, where basically you get a little water in the ear, and you feel like you're kind of wobbly, like you're on a ship, and then you step off the ship, and you still got that wobble feel to you. You know how that goes. So, I've been trying to eat better and get more healthy and lose some weight and look better, so I thought I'd put on this little lab coat because it does make me look kind of cool, right? I don't know. I have been looking at ways to help with my eating and health and stuff like that. So I've been looking at applications that will make me healthier, make me cook more food and get more good stuff into my system. And that's why I thought I'd talk today about WebMD, which is an application I put onto my iPad a few weeks ago to keep me abreast of all the situations. It's just like the website. If you've ever been to the WebMD website, you get all the information, except it's in a handy little iPad app here. You've got your symptom checker. You can talk about the conditions, look at the conditions, drugs and treatment, first aid information, local health listings, and saved. The symptom checker is pretty cool. You're given a body, and you just point to the body and say, "This is what I'm feeling here." You put in your symptoms, and it gives you an idea of what could be wrong. Not exactly is wrong. Of course, you should always consult a physician and get the lowdown. Like, for instance, last week I did have a pain. It turned out I think I pulled a muscle, but I wanted to be absolutely sure. So I went to the doctor, and because I thought it could have been a kidney stone, because I've had kidney stones in the past. So they checked to make sure it wasn't a kidney stone. They also checked to make sure it wasn't anything else. So it's very important to still see your doctor. This does not replace it, but you can get a good idea from your symptoms what you might do to counter it. Now, I have high blood sugar, or high blood pressure. And so because of that, I take a high blood pressure medication. I was told I should take a second medication, but I looked at the medication. I didn't like the fact that both of them the side effects from both of them were going to make me very non-productive. And I talked with my doctor about it, and I said, look, there's no way I can take both of these medications. I think that I would not be as productive as I normally am. And right now I'm not running at 100%, so I really don't want to take this. And they said, that's okay. This wasn't a critical second medication to take. We just thought it would speed up the process. They said, well, you got to do a little bit more exercise. You got to eat a little bit healthier. And I said, okay, that's fine. I will do. I'll cut down on my salts, and I'll do that. So even though you get something prescribed by a doctor, you can always be a little bit more informed of what your body is how it might react to a medication. And then you can have a more intelligent conversation with your doctor. And that's what I like about WebMD. So the other thing is it teaches me a lot about other types of ways to get healthy. Like, for instance, high blood pressure. There were several different supplements that I started taking along with my high blood pressure medication. For example, potassium. Your high blood pressure, the high blood pressure medication that I'm on is what's called a diuretic, or basically, we won't get into it. But the bottom line is, it could cause cramps. So I'm taking a potassium supplement to counter that, to make sure that I don't have cramps, because I usually get leg cramps. I've always gotten leg cramps in the evening. Another thing I've been taking is what's called CoQ10. CoQ10 is a way to keep you energized and going. A little bit of garlic for the heart, a little bit, one a day supplement there, and some supplements that are kind of not on the regular list, but they say if you take it, then you might help with the high blood pressure and other things. Like, for instance, in the last couple of days, I've been taking flax seeds. And I've been mixing them in with food, and they really don't taste like too much, but they bring flaxseed oil in, which actually helps with a lot of different things. It can help with any type of heart conditions, lowering cholesterol, high blood pressure, so on and so forth. So, I was like, well, why not take it? I also have high triglycerides, and that runs in the family. So flax seeds were meant to help lower the triglyceride count because it's up pretty high nowadays. So, but the bottom line is that you find a lot of things with apps like these, and that's the best part about it. So I'm glad to have an application. This is not going to replace my doctor, but at least gives me a direction that I can look into, and maybe some things I can self-diagnose. But if it's major, then you probably want to have a doctor diagnose it for you and go from there. All right, I love podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time, but I don't like listening to it on iTunes because basically once a podcast is done, one episode of somebody's show, it's done. And I can't go to the next one. And that's kind of really sad that they don't have that functionality. That's why I use a program called Stitcher Internet Radio. The best part about it is I can set up my favorites, and then I can set them up in a list. So when I'm walking down the street, it's playing the podcast, and when it's done playing that episode of the podcast, it'll go to the next show's episode. So if I'm listening to, iPad 365 and the show's over, it then goes over to one of my other podcasts like Day in Tech History or Geek Smack. And that's the best part, is I can organize it any different way. So I listen to tons of podcasts, and it's the best thing that I can just go from one podcast to the other without having to think about it too much. They got a lot of great stuff, and they just updated with Facebook walls, which is pretty cool there. I'll give you a chance to win $100 just by downloading that app. It's for iOS, it's for Android, it's for BlackBerry, and it's for WebOS. And you can do that by going over to Stitcher.com/geek, Stitcher.com/geek, enter in your email address, and of course, download the application. They'll give away $100 every month, so get downloaded and throw in your email address, and good luck over at Stitcher Internet Radio. And that's the show for today. Do you use WebMD? I know we've looked at some other medical applications, more for the medical student than anything. But tell me, what do you think? What do you like? What don't you like about these applications? What applications do you use? We've got a lot of other applications out there. I know I was talking to somebody over email today that actually does have a medical application that we might be talking about on a future episode of iPad 365 if we can get all the logistics put out on it. Or I might just pass it off to my friends over at ProMed Network, over at promednetwork.com, and they might just review it there. But anyway, we've got lots of apps. Let me know what applications you are interested in, because once I find out those applications, then I can start gearing more applications that you would like. So contact me over at Twitter at iPad365, or you can email me iPad365show@gmail.com. All right, tomorrow is Saturday. It's Wild Card, and I'm trying to figure out, I think I'm going to be talking about South by Southwest application there. But, of course, next week is South by Southwest, so we're gonna get you that application, talk a little bit about that. And yes, I am going to South by Southwest, and it will be a lot of fun. So if you're going down to South by Southwest, let me know at Twitter me at iPad365 or Geekazine. That's another Twitter handle, and go from there. Until then, we will see you in 24. Well, and it will be another iPad 365. Ladies and gentlemen, geek out, and we'll see you then. Take care. Is there a doctor in the house? You should follow Graphite on Twitter at GraphiteINC.